Hi, it's Tommy here with the Bharat Army for this podcast as well. Thank you very much for supporting us on our little chats around sport and all things sporty. And we couldn't speak to a more appropriate person, and how very relevant, how very timely that we have the broadcaster and journalist Rica Roy on the podcast. Rica loves sport, man. It runs in her family. And in this chat, I just wanted to address it. I want to address the fact that what's going on with women and the representation of women in sport. We are seeing an increase in the number of women in journalistic roles, but how hard is that? How tough is it to get in there? Who are her role models? So this is one for all the ladies out there. Here is a true champion of sport, and one that's carved her own path. And has done it the tough way, the hard way, and knows the graft that's involved. This is the brilliant sports journalist, Rica Roy, on the Tommy Sandu podcast with Bharat Army. Rica Roy, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you? How are you?
Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. Thank you for making the time for us. Cheers for getting us on, coming onto the getting onto the podcast. Where are you? Where are you in the world?
Oh, well, in a tiny city called New Delhi.
Oh, I've heard of it. I've heard it's up and coming. Yeah, it's quite. And oh, look at you. You're in New Delhi, and it looks like that door is open to next to you, to the left of you.
Yeah, the door's open to the whole
What are you
wide
doing?
world to see that
Are you
not,
crazy?
it's not smoggy. It's not smoggy today. The sun's trickling in. It's not smoggy for a change. The sun's trickling in, and that's why the door is open, to at least give you a glimpse of, what I'm catching.
Okay, let me tell everybody in the UK, don't believe what you're reading. It's not that smoggy in Delhi.
Not at least today. Not at least today.
What is that? Sorry, I don't get how smog and pollution, all that works. I thought if you've got it, it's there for a bit until it's gone. But the way you're saying it, it's like it might be here today, it might be here tomorrow, it might be.
No, not exactly, because it was windy last night, so the pollution and the smog has been blown away a little bit. But during the dull winter days, when there is smog in the air, it settles in also. But with the wind, it blows away. The dust is blown away. So which is why it's a little clear today.
You know what I love?
Cricket day.
No, I was just gonna say that. I said, you know what I love?
It is a good cricket day. You can see the ball.
Yeah,
the red
ball. Only a sports journalist will analyze the weather like that. Like, the wind plays a factor, Tommy. It blows the smog away, and therefore we have an open pit. Have you always been this way? Have you always been a bit of an analyzer of things of life? I think because to do what you do, to be a sports journalist, you've got to be someone that wants to kind of look beyond it. Have you always been, slightly interfering, slightly annoying, slightly must dig a little bit deeper and find out what's going on here, even when you were younger?
Well, Tommy, if I were to describe myself in one word, the word would be cricklet. Did you get that word?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Cricklet means crick. The word crick comes from cricket.
Yeah.
And cricklet, which means a person who lets cricket into every conversation.
Okay.
That may be very irritating. That may be very irritating if you don't like the game. Yeah. But that's who I am. Please accept me for the time that I speak to you.
I love it. I would have called you a crickler. I said I like crickler. Oh, she's a right crickler. She is. Oh, God. You could be talking about
crickler down the road.
Yeah, here she be. Yeah, she's a crickler for the detail. But this is clearly it's in your blood. It's what you do. It's what you love. But I guess I wanted to get you on because it feels almost crazy for me to have these conversations because I am from a family of two sisters. I've got two older sisters. I'm the only boy. All I know is girl power. And by that, what I say it's not even girl power. It's just, well, that's just the way the world is. Like in a way that many will assume now that we're living in a man-dominated world. I'm like, no, we're not. We live in a world where your sisters tell you what to do. And when your sisters and your mum get together, they tell all of us. They tell me and my dad.
That's a big gang.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know any other way. I'm not a very ladsy lad. If I'm honest, as everyone knows, I've got into cricket only recently, and even sport recently, because it hasn't been a big part of my life. Dance, music, and drama was a part of my life all growing up. So it's crazy to have this conversation where I'm going to talk to you about, oh, you're a female broadcaster and you're a female journalist. I find that conversation almost patronizing to mankind. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, why are we having those chats now?
Yeah, but if you talk to me personally, if I tell you my story, I grew up in a family where dinner table conversation, every conversation was around sports that was going on in India, which was about India, across the world. Sports and politics, pretty much, they were the two dinner table conversations. And initially, I was a part of a big joint family. And even then, when we became a nuclear family, it still was sports and politics. For a very long time, everything that, while I was growing up, most of the things that I was told to was through a sporting lens. Perhaps also because a father played sport, a grandfather played sport, and everyone around me played sport. And I was naturally drawn into playing sport, and I did not know anything better. So for me, that was it. I was a part of that ecosystem. All conversations was around that. And
it's a bit like when you get the it's like the filmy families, right? Like, you imagine if you were like if you're a Kapoor or a Bachchan or anyone else or a Butt, you're gonna have those conversations.
So unlike the Kapoors and the Bachchans, the economics of the family did not come from sports. Okay. They were not. They all went to make big corporate careers. But and I also come from a tiny hamlet in the northeastern part of India called Darjeeling. So my roots are in Darjeeling and in Calcutta. So in Darjeeling, in the gardens, and even in Calcutta, when I used to be there, most conversations would be around cricket, football, hockey. My dad played hockey. My dad played cricket and rugby too. He used to represent India in rugby, and he played the Oceania circuit. My granddad again played hockey and cricket. So I think I played tennis up till a certain level, then had injuries, didn't go on to play at the international level, and recovery was very difficult around the time I played the game. So everything, I think that my life was built around sports and sporting conversations. And of course, then there used to be these rivalries around football matches. When I was in Calcutta, I saw that East Bengal and Mohun Bagan, they were like two massive legends. These are legendary clubs, and families fought. Basically, they fought for pride over these two clubs, East Bengal and Mohun Bagan. And there are these little stories of, intermarriages between an East Bengal and a Mohun Bagan family. And as an insult, they would send fishes to each other. So, I have just grown up on stories like this. Right. So my life had to be all about sport.
But was there ever a thing of like, you're the girl in the family, or were you part of several girls in the family? And was there ever a kind of a, nay, beta, this is not for you, this is sport for the boys talk?
No, not
clearly. It feels like it's such a big part of your life. So it must have just been very open. And if so, how forward, your parents and the joint family parents must have been.
So the thing is, I wasn't decided on taking up sports as a career. My mother's a doctor, and my dad was a management professional who went on to teach at one of the most prestigious management institutes in India called Indian Institute of Management. They never kind of told me that this is the path that you need to take, or that's the path you don't need to take. I was introduced to journalism, or what should I say, this world, which was very unique to me while I was still playing. And I think for me, it was a little bit of an organic entry, though at that point when I was 13, 14, 15, when I just kind of was cutting my teeth, I didn't know that I would go on to become a journalist. broadcaster or any such thing, or even be a part of the sporting ecosystem. But all that I knew was that I loved it. I loved being here, and not just connected by being connected to the sport, but being connected to some wonderful personalities around it, and just knowing them. It was just so inspirational for me, and I thought that if I aspired to be in any ecosystem, this would be it. And it didn't happen to me instantly, but it took a long time for me then finally to realize that this would be my path, that I would ultimately be a sports journalist. I veered into territories like, I did my chemistry honors. I was about to become a chemical engineer. Didn't I am also a medical school dropout. I went to medical school for a little bit, didn't continue. Then I did my chemistry honors. So till very late, I think till the time I was still writing at that time and doing some freelance work. But till the time I think I was about 21, I didn't have a settled thought process about what I want to be and where does sport fit into my life.
Yeah, but then see, that's again, I don't know how likely you felt that there is something in sport for you. That's what I'm trying to get, because obviously now we can see there are a lot of women in sport. There's yourself who's successful in sport, but at the time when you were getting into it, I mean, who were you looking up to kind of go, well, if she can do it and she
no
can
one.
do it? Because now,
I really entered a career wherein I had no role models.
Right.
But I was driven by just the idea of telling inspirational stories. At my heart, I'm a storyteller. And what better stories to tell than the stories of achievers, than this people who make us proud. I found my role model in journalism, in broadcasting, much, much later in my career. And I can tell you the lady is Tracy Holmes, who is one of the faces of Australian Broadcasting Corporation. And Tracy is like a work mummy to me, and I kind of look up to her. And someday I would want to be like her, and to kind of lay down, being Tracy, how she lays down the path for other sports journalists to follow. I would like to be like that and bring in more women into the pool, because what happens is when sports get stronger, the ecosystem needs to get stronger, and the better professionals we bring into the system. And by that I say both men and women, not just women, both men and women, trained professionals who can be credible to talk about the sport, to talk about the achievers, the better the ecosystem gets. And that's my absolute ambition, to kind of help people get there. But coming back to your question about when I got in, whether I had role models, no, but a burning desire to tell stories and stories of achievers.
And now you're doing things with different up and coming journalists. What are you doing to help people? I know you're actively involved.
As an extension, I wouldn't say as an extension of my job, but this is also a passion project, I must say. I've been in the profession for 21 years now, and I felt it was time to not just do my own work, but give back to the system. Also, an opportunity came as I got a fellowship with the Australian Broadcasting Corporation to go there and train to become a media trainer. Subsequently, during the COVID, through them, I started training women sports journalists in India, and now the work has extended to Pacific also. So I am training a bunch of ladies in Pacific, in Fiji, Vanuatu, and Solomon Islands. In fact, this morning I was speaking to a group of women from Solomon Islands. They're 10,000 kilometers away from me. And we are preparing them to report on the Pacific Games that are coming up in 2023. Sports journalism is at a very nascent stage in those parts of the world. India still, it's a little more advanced than it is there. Even in Sri Lanka, we are doing some work. So, my work as a journalist has really extended to helping other people get into these careers, and even finding a dream space for themselves here. But, having said that, I must say that we need to go a long, long way even now to give themselves, to give these ladies a respectable position in the society, for them to get paid as much as their male colleagues. I think that will happen sometime in the future, but it's not happening just yet.
Isn't that crazy though? What? Why? Why is that happening? Why is that still ongoing? Why is it still a male-dominated industry? When you see there's a passion, and why does it fall on you, Rica Roy, 10,000 miles away from the Solomon Islands, to train up people over there? It's like, if you didn't take that on, it doesn't get done. It feels like, despite the fact that we're now seeing more and more women, there's still...
Okay, let me clarify a little bit. This is basically an ABC project, Australian Broadcasting Corporation project, and I am collaborating with them as a trainer. So if they didn't get me, they would probably have found someone in Australia to do so. But they kind of gave me the responsibility to help these girls. So I'm grateful that they have given me.
Right.
But yes, we need, more and more people, more and more trained people to come into the system, to help the system, and help the system grow, help these women grow, and perhaps, come to a stage when women and men are paid in the same way.
Yeah. How does it feel then? I don't know. And look, I'm saying this from a very personal point of view, even as a presenter and a broadcaster in the entertainment field. I've been in this game for 25 years now, from my first TV show to now. And I see people getting breaks, people getting not based on their knowledge, skill, or ability, but maybe based on their connections or their looks or their social media currency. And you feel like, hello, some of us have grafted. I always say, I've earned my stripes. I did, late night shopping channels selling rubbish little tic-tac kind of rubbish stuff for 3 hours to one camera, and I can talk about anything now all day long because I've learned that craft. And I'm sure you've been through your training camps of broadcasting, the small shows, the late night shows, the rubbish gigs, the ones where you got to hold your own light, hold your own mic, hold your own camera, all of that stuff. And now you see people waltzing on in because whatever, for another set of reasons.
Yes, as unfortunate as it is, there are many people, for reasons not too many of us get those doorways, which are not, which I would say are not the main doors, but the side door entries. And there are very many reasons. But, the more we talk about those reasons, the more we get deviated from our purpose. Our purpose is to get there, put the foot in the door, get there and make our presence felt. The more we talk about what other people are doing and how they are achieving things that we are not achieving, I think we are just wasting our energy into something that will not really yield us anything. Of course, it is important to be aware. It is important to keep an eye out on how people are achieving certain kind of things and the skills that they have. But I may not have certain skill that X or Y has, or they may not have certain skill that I have. So I need to think how I can have that one hip pocket skill that the other person doesn't have. And that is going to make me stand out, rather than waste my energies thinking, how did he get there? How did she get there?
Then in which case, let's focus on that positive, because you're right. It's what's so nice now in cricket, particularly as well, is there are so many female broadcasters in the game and representing the game. Let's get your take on what we've just seen. The T20 World Cup, Team India.
But you only get to see them in India. No, in India, you don't get to see. You don't get to see trained professionals like me part of the broadcasting pool, and there are many reasons for it. Well, I would say that some reasons are something that I don't know, inexplicable, and the others are probably better known to the broadcasters.
Yeah. So does it fall on you? Is it your responsibility? Because to take it all on now, to kind of keep flying the flag, to keep trying to help open doors for more women journalists and broadcasters?
See, I wouldn't say it's my responsibility alone. I feel that because I have been in the profession for some time, at one point, I have to give something back to the system. So this is my way of giving back to the system, but I really don't take this up as a social responsibility. However, having said that, I would tell you that, I feel that if I am able to give them at least one hip pocket skill by which they become important to the system that they are in or are able to raise the bar, I'll be more than happy.
Okay.
But no, I don't feel responsible
No.
about flying the flag. No.
You're just doing you. You're doing you. And if you do some good along the way, all good.
I'll be happy. Yeah. I don't have the burden of responsibility.
No, nobody needs that burden. There's enough pressures in life anyway.
Yes, there's enough pressure on a day-to-day basis. When I get into the newsroom, well, it is a mad place to be in. You need a lot of energies to be a part of a newsroom where news is people don't just consume news out of the idiot box that we put it out on, but news consumes you. For a person like me who have 36 monitors hanging all around her when she gets into the newsroom, there are various emotions that I have to process every day when I get into a newsroom, and not all is as happy as sports. So sports is the only thing that gives you, I think, that helps you release all your happy hormones most days. Most days. But the other news around me, they may not be as happy. And, we have forgotten the art of doing news you can use, or positive news that have changed our society or are changing our society. News is a lot about who said what and the wrongs that are happening in the society right now. So there's a lot to consume, really. There's a lot to process, really.
But what's funny is, okay, so I've worked with, Bharat Army, the Team India fans, and we were at the stadiums, at the grounds. There is I'm going to say it straight. I hope you don't mind. I'm not sugarcoating it. There is an aggression about Indian media compared to British media. I see numerous outlets, maybe actually not just India, they might be from Bangladesh as well, and the way they are with the microphone, there's an elbow, we're going to get on in there. That doesn't go on. And don't forget, I'm in this middle world where I'm seeing, born and raised in Britain, my family are Indian. So I have a love for both people and cultures, but that, like you say, when you say about that newsroom, and you got to have that energy, you got to have that passion, that's reflected in all India journalism, media. It's a tough place to be, isn't it?
Well, Indians well and Asians well. Don't you think Asians, we are a bit aggressive as a race?
Yeah, well, not aggressive in our desire to hurt or anything like that. I mean, like, come on, go, try, work, bam, bam.
Yeah, I think it's a part of the wiring. It's a part of the wiring and social conditioning. But having said that, a lot of people are socially conditioned like that. Top of my mind, there is a picture of the Mumbai local trains. Have you seen how people rush into Mumbai local trains?
No, I haven't. I know they're busy.
I think you have to YouTube a video of how people rush into Mumbai local trains. And that's a unique picture, a very unique picture of struggle for existence. And I wouldn't say that everyone's struggling for existence, but somewhere I feel that people in our country, they are in a state of entropy. They are in constant motion, and even if they don't need to be aggressive, they are aggressive because they probably feel that the Mumbai local is leaving them.
Right, but But that's surely then, like I always say, like an underdog when you're backed into a corner, to use like a sporting term, if you're there, that's when you're going to shine. That's when it's fight or flight. It's time to pull out your best move. And if you're saying India or Indians or
I think
are
it's
in that kind
about
of state.
Asians, I think.
Asians, yeah. I was at South Asians in particular, or maybe even actually
Bangladesh, Pakistan, not so much with the Sri Lankans because they are a very nice race. They have a languid pace, let me put it this way. They have a languid pace, but with Indians, Pakistanis, and Bangladeshis, I have seen that they give you an idea as if the next Mumbai local is leaving them behind at the station.
Yeah. But I'm saying that could be the reason why they're as successful as they are, because it's having that kind of fear and hate in them.
Possibly. And I'm not saying this negatively, but possibly that, fear of failure, struggle for survival is that, pushes them or hardwires them to be the way they are and to be as in your face as they are.
Okay, and talking of failures, then let's talk about cricket. If it is a failure, I don't know. Men's T20 World Cup. I was there. I was in Dubai for the whole of the series, the whole of the World Cup, and Team India. Now we've had a load of shake-ups. We didn't see the Team India that everyone was expecting. There was a lot of excuses about pitches and tracks and culture and timing and management and captaincy. What is going on with Team India, in your opinion, right now, the men's team?
Okay, let me ask you an honest question. Did you expect any better than what happened at the T20 World Cup?
Well, yeah. And I'll tell you why I did. Because they talked about, the track, the dew, the this. I'm like, hello, you've been playing IPL on those pitches for months. You know it very well. You're already acclimatized to it. You've been living in bubbles. I'm sure, you're aware of what that culture is like. You've been doing it for some time. Compared to other nations that were coming into this kind of format and tournament for the first time. So I thought this is like home territory. These guys, it's just a continuation. Yes, they might be a little bit tired, but actually I thought these are world-class athletes. They have world-class facilities. They should be okay.
No, they were extremely tired. They were tired and jaded. The whole idea of shoehorning IPL into this schedule between India and England and the World Cup was just so wrong. And the cricketers. So Indian cricketers don't have a cricket players association. It is just them and the board. And BCCI today functions like your and my family. They don't have the professionals leading the board. It's like it's run by people who've played cricket in the past, and the world's richest board is run by a bunch of amateurs who very proudly say that they are doing the job as honorary president, honorary secretary, honorary treasurer. When you say such things and run the richest cricket board, that in itself is, the whole idea is misplaced for me.
Right.
Two things are contradictory. You run the richest cricket board, but you run it as an honorary president. You have the professional layer in BCCI is missing. Where are they gone? They have all been sacked. Sorry. So there is the professional eye on what's happening. Who's telling them about the schedule? Well, they have a set of obligations, bilateral obligation. There are, test matches to play. There are World Cups to play. So they are scheduling things, the way the future tours program is laid out. Of course, there's no play between India and Pakistan, but aside of that, whatever the commitments are, bilateral commitments are, we are doing. Why do we have to play a New Zealand try 3-match T20 series just after the World Cup? It completely beats me. And the New Zealand team showed up like India was at the World Cup, completely tired and jaded.
Yeah, but are we not playing catch up from COVID though? Is it not? This is coronavirus, so now they've got commitments to sponsors and channels and various other
I
things.
know. So there's the catch. Yes, we are playing catch up in a way, but how much is too much? You can't have Virat Kohli playing 365 days a year, or you can't even have him play, 180 days a year. You have to see how much, and if Virat Kohli doesn't play, and if then the broadcasters are not happy about it, or the country where you're going to is not happy about it, too bad, because your top players cannot be playing all year round. So then you have to see in what tournaments, around what time. See, it happens in Olympics. It's not rocket science. So it happens in Olympics that you have to peak at a cycle. You have to peak at a time. So I'll tell you, for next year is a very important year for India in sports, because we have the Commonwealth Games, we have the Asian Games. So, the ones who have won medals at the Olympic Games this year, they have taken a break and they are preparing to peak for, they're preparing to peak in one of the tournaments. They can't peak back to back in Commonwealth Games and in Asian Games because they are in back to back months. So there is a scientific process to all of this. There is no rocket science. So you have to, if there are professionals running the system, they will see how then to use your talent. They are not being used as talent. That's my problem. They are being used as a resource pool of players. And hello, you have a bigger pool, then you have to make use of the Indian bench as well. Where are the Rituraj Gaikwads? Rituraj and Harshal, who were the orange cap and the purple cap winners, why weren't they not playing in the World Cup? They were less tired than the others. The Venkatesh Iyers of the world, who kind of did great with opening, why were they not drafted in?
Yeah, it's a bit like me.
Is that there is a template, and if cricket wants to beat the tried and tested template that is already prevalent in the sports world, then cricket as a game is going to suffer overall.
Right. I say it's a bit like me when I'm at a wedding. I can't go for it on the night before party, because if I go for it on the night before party, I've got nothing to give on the wedding day. Yeah. So I've got to pace it. So night before party is this gentle dance move.
You have to pace it out.
And then I'm saving myself. Or I go in early, I smash it the night before, and I go, I'm going to rest out on the. I get it.
Bang on.
It's exactly that. Talking of which, married? What's your setup? Are you settling down? Is there a special significant other in your life?
No. Do I need to have one?
No, you said that. I was just because I'm looking at. We've spoken about everything. We've spoken about sports journalism, cricket, Virat Kohli, schedules. I just thought you don't, girl, you don't need anything.
But
one thing I've learned about you is you don't need it.
It's not a human, but I am married.
Okay, to the love of the game. Is this what you're going to tell me? To the hockey stick or the cricket bat or the what?
Yes. All of them. I'm married to all of them.
well,
and the football, basketball.
Yeah. Well, one thing I know for sure is you're going to have a very happy life together, because I know how much you love that thing, that being that is sport.
Well, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, Rica, it's been so great talking to you. I can see your passion, and I'm so glad we got to have this chat. And I hope you don't mind me asking some of the questions I asked. I'm kind of learning as well. I want to know what's going on. India is a powerhouse for sport on so many levels. Now we ask, and it's, I'm proud. We're raised in the UK. We're told we're Indian. We go, so it runs through us. But yet, I've only been there a handful of times in my life. But yet, you're Indian, Tommy. So
let me ask you a question. Who do you think you are?
I'll let you
Indian,
know when
Indian, British.
Well, then I think honestly, the answer to that question is it depends in what kind of context and in what way. Because I think by my culture and my religion, by my religion aspects, I'm Indian. And when the way I talk to my mum, the way I treat my sisters, the way I conduct myself as a person, as a brother, that's very Indian. But my humor and my kind of quirks, my culture is very British, but then the music I consume is American. And, so I don't know. I think now the world's just becoming a bit like that. And it's exciting in a way. All I would like to do, like you,
we are actually citizens without borders.
I agree. And the sooner we drop the border element, the better it'll be. But I like you, I like celebrating people. And you love celebrating greatness in athletes. I love celebrating greatness in broadcasters like yourself, or movie makers, or food makers, or anybody else. I think let's just celebrate all the great in life.
I love looking at journeys that are inspiring, because at the end of the day, those journeys inspire you.
Yeah.
I was actually I'm currently reading Indra Nui's autobiography, My Life in Full. It's just so inspiring. I mean, hadn't I read that book, I wouldn't have known how it felt like being a first generation immigrant in India, and who did not go there out of any compulsion, but went there with the dream of making America great.
Yeah. Yeah. And look at your smile as you say that, because I know you're on your little path for your greatness, to leave your legacy, to do the things that
Thank you so much.
And go smash it. Thank you so much, Rica. Great talking to you.
Thank you so much.
I need you to do one thing for me, and that is to subscribe to the podcast. It's free. Okay, this doesn't cost you any money. You know that. You can listen to this for free, whether you are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, if you're on JioSaavn, or any other streaming platform, Deezer, Castbox, TuneIn Radio, we're everywhere. If you're listening to this right now, hit subscribe. Subscribers really make a big difference for podcasters like me, because it tells us who our family of podcast listeners are, where you are in the world, the kind of shows that you're listening to, and the things that you like. So it really makes a big difference. If you like this, please hit subscribe, and then we can keep a little tab on you and give you the good stuff that you deserve. So I really appreciate it. It means a lot to have your company. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button there and be a part of the Tommy Sandhu podcast. People, we're only just beginning. The good stuff is all coming your way daily, Monday to Friday. Go spread the word and be a part of what we do. Hit subscribe, follow us on social media, and do it right now. Thank you.